We interrupt this program for a special news bulletin.
Throws toward the corner of the end zone. It is intercepted! Intercepted! The Ducks have the ball!
To the end zone! Touchdown, Oregon! Mariota dives! Touchdown! They hand it off straight out! C.J. Verdell wins the game for Oregon!
Inside the 10! A hat-trick, a touchdown from Justin Herbert! Howard's going to run for it. Time runs out, and that'll do it! Welcome to the Big Ten, Oregon! They storm the field at Autzen!
All right, Duck fans, here we go. Welcome into another episode of the Ducks Rising podcast, sponsored by Backer and Water Ave Coffee. I'm Zachary, Neel. You know Travis Rooke-Ley. What's up, Travis? How you doing?
I love the matching hats, so those of you
Just
on
noticed
video
that.
can see who
There we
models
go.
it better between me and you. Shout it out in the comments. But good to be back. Still riding a little bit of a high off of Saturday. Excited for a little Friday game. I feel like my favorite thing about a Friday game week is I get to still just enjoy another Saturday full of football without having to cover it. So I kind of like the Friday.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. There's some really good college football games this weekend. There's also some, I was just planning ahead. My Sunday is usually very swamped with, work and writing and stuff. And there's some really good NFL games on this weekend. So I'm excited to, get a lot of my work done Saturday and then just be like, all right, let me just relax a little bit. So, yeah, I don't mind the Friday night kickoff. I don't usually like night games. I just don't like working them because I don't get out of the stadium until, midnight. But if it's Friday night, I don't mind it as much.
Yeah, we'll see if Bo can decide to run a somewhat decent offense this week and not wait until halfway through the fourth quarter to tough watch.
As a Ducks fan and a massive Broncos fan, I was born in Denver, so I've always been a Broncos fan. It's been an experience for sure. I still believe, but yeah, I don't really know what we're gonna get every weekend. We are going to have some fun today. We already got our instant reactions from Iowa game to you guys on Saturday, so we're going to touch on some lasting thoughts just from that game, stuff that we've saw from the rewatch, stuff that we've picked up on since then. Then we're going to dive into Minnesota this weekend. After that, we've got a couple of fun things. First, we're going to chat about the college football playoff. The rankings that came out last week, they come out again tonight, actually in just about 45 minutes as we record this, and potential paths that Oregon could go on, what seed they kind of want, who they want. I know you've got a lot to say there. So then after that, we are going to play another game. We're going to talk about championship contenders, kind of like our Heisman draft, same kind of thought process, but talk about who we think can actually win the championship. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. Before that, some housekeeping. Jeff's film room went live last night as we record this, the Iowa game. Really, really good one. I find when Jeff talks offensive line, I just dial in. I'm just so fascinated by what he sees with the offensive line because I just learn a ton. And he talked a lot about the offensive line this week just because they played really well.
Well, and what I know you texted it in the group last night, but what's so cool about Jeff's breakdowns is you get the nerd offensive line film breakdown part, but you get it from just a tried and true Duck fan. So he's loving every minute of it and the different reactions throughout. He's boom and pow and just different stuff like that, which is hilarious. But I mean, it's so informative too. I mean, those who listen to the instant reaction, I questioned the 3rd and 3 QB sweep. I think me and you both talked about it. What are we doing there? Why aren't we on? And it's okay, well, we see now why. I mean, that's probably a touchdown if it's blocked correctly. So just the combo of the Duck fandom and then the learn football is unbeatable.
And Jeff is such a funny guy to me. I paused it. I was watching the living room last night with my wife, and I paused it when he was just Poncho, this MFer, but did not say MFer. I was all right, Jeff. We didn't tell you not to cuss, but maybe not. it's behind a paywall. We're all adults. It's fine.
Okay.
He's feeling it, man. I love it. So yeah, if you have not checked out that film room yet, I highly encourage you to go do that. Also, if you've not listened to last week's Alumni Corner with Royce Freeman, that was a really good one, a really fun one to talk on. We will have another one coming out later this week, so just keep your eyes peeled for that one. We are going to get to Iowa and some of our parting thoughts, but I just have to say, for any of you Duck fans who found your way to that game, first, credit to you for being a real fan, going traveling to support your team. Second, I hope you brought your backer gear because that was a wet one. I'm sure you might have gotten a little bit wet, but if you had backer gear, you were probably a little bit more dry than people around you.
It looks like it's going to be another one Friday. I think we're reversing all of the good luck from last season when I don't think it rained to drop the entire year. So definitely a company that's building momentum at the right time. And yeah, like you said, I mean, whether it's warm, cold, whatever it is, I think the two jackets they got built for winter, the dry one and the warm one, are unparalleled in that sphere. I think that one thing we haven't shouted out enough is just like the level of quality. These are guys that come from like that mountain hardware background, so like this isn't just your Nike Columbia jacket that you find for $85 that might keep you dry when it's drizzling. Like this is like stuff built for Alaskan winters, as they like to say. So definitely encourage fans to check it out.
Absolutely. All right, we went deep on Saturday night after the Iowa game. Just kind of got our instant takeaways. I think we were both so excited from that game, from what we saw, kind of riding that high. They're like, all right, we're going to be texting anyway about what we saw. Let's just put it on the airwaves. And that was one of our most downloaded episodes in a while. So I think people enjoyed that. We might have to put that in our repertoire going forward. But I'm curious what lasting thoughts you have, what kind of you picked up on after your rewatch. I know I rewatched last night, yesterday, so what were you thinking?
I mean, not that it's something we didn't discuss that night, but just the line of scrimmage dominance on both sides of the ball, I think really stood out. I think combined with the fact that, man, there was about 5, 6, 7 plays throughout the game that if we just convert, that's probably his 2-score game, and we're not sweating it out in the end. So I think I know people see 18 points on the scoreboard. I know people see some failed ends of drives. I know people say settling for field goals in different situations. I hear that, but I think at the same time, like, you got to understand the weather factors, game flow, the Iowa factor, all that stuff plays into it. And so I think when you go drive to drive offensively, there's a lot of good things in there. And I think when we look down the stretch a little bit, just the way we've been able to run the ball with a high efficiency against a defense that does not allow that often, if ever, you have to be pretty encouraged by that.
I agree. Yeah, I had the offensive line and defensive line written down. Like, just watching it again, like, we knew they played well at the time, but just like going back and seeing it and watching Jeff's stuff last night, like seeing the push they got on both sides of the ball was really impressive. I was also impressed by the defensive backs, the secondary, outside of a few plays where there was the coverage breakdowns. Like, there was probably 3 plays that you want back, but other than that, I thought they played really well. And of course, Iowa's passing offense is not like anything to write home about, but there was a couple really good stops, a couple of good coverage, and of course Finney's forced fumble is always great. But after the game, I was kind of down on the secondary because it's like they're the reason why this was made a game, but I think they deserve a little bit more credit. I thought they were just fine.
Yeah, and I mean, they've just been that way this entire year. And I mean, those couple we looked at were not. I mean, I think it was Kennedy one time, and then kind of Thieneman and Flowers the other time, where somehow both of them did it. So I mean, obviously, you take away those plays, and it's just basically nothing. But I think the run defense, run efficiency. I mean, that's the thing about Iowa is they almost want to just get 4 yards every play. Like, I honestly think if you ask them, they would rather have a 17-play drive than a 4-play touchdown drive, and that's just makes it a hard game to escape. I mean, you saw it happen with Indiana, you've seen it happen with Ohio State in years past. I know all of us going up to the game and leading into the game were like, we've got to find a way to make this an Oregon game, but they just make it hard to do that. And when you just miss a couple things early in the game that could have made that easily 14-0, 19-7, we had an opportunity with the touchdown pass if Dante doesn't slip. It just takes a couple small little things to keep them a score away where they can continue to play that fashion.
I also kind of like that they didn't make it an Oregon game. Like, it would have been a lot less stressful if they made it an Oregon game and just blew them out. But I liked seeing them be put in this instance and have to win it this way. It was just really, I have so much more confidence in this team now knowing that they can win that game. I think you tweeted it, there's so many versions of this Duck team that lose that game. We can only think of a handful of teams, of Oregon teams at most, that could even stay close or win this game. I love that this is one of them. I love that this team can have that that many different identities that they can go win a blowout, they can win a shootout, they can win an 18-16 game in Iowa. Like, that's not easy to do. Not many people, not many teams can say that. I'm impressed that they were able to show that.
Totally. And I'm pretty sure it was Jermari Johnson today who said a similar thing to that. I texted Bryce after the game because he's helped us out with some other Ducks Rising stuff. I was just like, how good did that feel to win a game like that? And he was just like, he loved it. And he said Dan, like, leaned into it and loved it. I think you could feel that sense from the staff that, like, you know, it's a little hairy in the moment, but once you get, obviously, to the finish line, it's fun to do that. I think the one other thing I just wanted to add, which on the rewatch, I know we talked a little bit about Dan's like clock management and how they manage the clock at the end of the first half and the end of the second half. And I think that what he said in the press conference made sense, especially when you think about the second half. I do have to say, the first half, I really feel like we let one off the hook there. I mean, I think I texted you this, we were on the 42 with a minute 30, and it took us another minute 20 to get 4 plays and 12 more yards to get to the 21. So, like, I'm all for taking the points, and that was big to go from 2 to 5, like to get, you know, a position where Iowa needs touchdown to get ahead. But that's a game like we talked about all week where if you can get up 2 scores, that's when you're in a position where they have to start changing what they're doing. And we saw, I mean, I get we're down receivers, but we sure trusted Malik on the last drive, trusted J-Mac and Cooper Perry in the last drive, so why not trust him at the end of the first half? So I don't know. That's my only gripe when I look back, is just being like, God, we could have gone for the kill a little bit there.
I also feel like there was one play on that drive where they were about to snap the ball and then Dante stopped, made a check, kind of was a little bit slow with it. I mean, whatever, he needed to do what he needed to do, but that took itself like 10 seconds to get up to the line of scrimmage, call the new play, get back, get set. And that whole time I was like, oh, like, come on. But, yeah, if they could have scored a touchdown there and then gone into the half with that momentum and then come out of the half with the ball again, that's a completely different ball game. But, you know what? They won in the end. So I don't know how much we can complain. It's all valid,
gravy.
I think. But it's like, yeah, it's fine. Anything else on Iowa before we go ahead to Minnesota?
No, I mean, we'll probably get to it when we get to playoff ranking stuff, but it's just funny, some of the national narratives coming out of this. Like, of course, I mean, you watch... Is
funny the right word?
You watch ESPN, you go on Twitter, and somehow now, you know, winning at Missouri is 10 times better than going to Iowa and winning. So it's just frustrating.
The fact that, who is it? We're going to get into this more later. But the fact that, like, I think it was Galloway giving Texas so much credit for winning at Mississippi State, but then Oregon is not even mentioned for winning at Penn State. It's like, I know that Penn State's not good anymore.
He said literally the Big Ten is closer to the ACC than the SEC.
Insane. And ESPN has just gone so far downhill. They're so biased now. I don't know that we want to have this conversation right now.
It's just hard because it's making the frustrating part. And this is the last thing I'll say, is it's making these other guys now have to, like, almost come out who are on the CBS Fox side and be, like, anti that and be, like, too homerish this side. It's, like, this clear divide now. You know, I listen to the Cover 3 guys. I'll listen to Joel Klatt. I'll listen to these other guys where I'm, like, now what they're saying, I'm like, no, you actually, like, took it too far. Stop saying the SEC isn't good. And it's just, like, become, what side are you on? I'm like, what happened?
It's politics. Like, that's what's really sad. It's just, and that's why I, like, didn't really want to get into it. It's turned into politics. It's like, are you Republican? Are you Democratic? Are you SEC? Are you Big Ten? It's like, no one's gonna agree on anything, and it's really sad that that's kind of what this sport has turned into, in a sense. Whether you're on Fox or ESPN, that kind of aligns which conference you believe in, and you're gonna say whatever falls in line with your party. So let's stop talking about that for now. We might do it more later. Let's talk about Minnesota. This game, I think, is much closer to Rutgers or Northwestern than it is to Iowa. I think that Minnesota is not very good on offense at all. In fact, I would say they're bad on offense. Their defense is fine. They've got a good front seven. I think they lead the Big Ten in sacks this year. What are your thoughts when looking at them?
I think they're in that Big Ten. I actually wouldn't compare them a whole ton just in terms of actually what they do to Rutgers. I think they're a little more in the, like, Wisconsin, Northwestern Iowa vein. I heard someone call them JV Iowa earlier, which I actually think is a good kind of apt comparison. They run the ball pretty well. We'll see if Darius Taylor plays, who's like their star running back and best player, but he's been dinged throughout the season. They're the type of team that if they're not running the ball with success, they're going to really, really struggle. But as you said, I think solid front seven defensively. Like one of those teams that's going to try to shorten the game up a little bit again. I think they're just like similar in that vein to, I mean, we could literally just right now put in our game description for Northwestern or Wisconsin and just pop it in right now and just talk about like, okay, well, we just need to stop efficiency run, need to play clean offensively. Like this is what they're going to try to do. And I don't know, they're well coached. They compete. They're the type of team that the longer you keep them in the game, like they're going to have belief. I like PJ Fleck as a coach, even though he's a little bit corny at times, but I respect what he's done there. So I don't know. 23.5 to me is a little high. I know we'll get to the betting line, especially off a short week. And, of course, Minnesota off of a bye. Classic Big Ten, treating your winners the right way. So, we'll see.
Do you have any concerns about this game outside of injuries?
Not losing, per se. More so, I do, relating to our playoff discussion that's coming, I think, unfortunately, we need to start worrying a little bit about some style points, and I'd like to see our
get into the playoff, but as far as ranking goes and seeding goes, yes.
Yeah. And with that, like I don't care a whole ton about that. I would like to see our offense come out and look like good.
Of course.
Through the air.
Who wouldn't?
And like
yeah.
But I think it's been, take out Rutgers, it's been a little clunky for a while now.
Totally.
Hasn't been what we're used to at Oregon, I'll just say. A lot of people would love what we're doing right now. It's not what we've been used to for a long time. So I think it's one of those games that, like, depending on who's out there at receiver, like, their secondary is gettable.
Yeah, and this is something I'm interested to see as the season kind of ramps up towards the end. We talked about this with Jeff last night, just texting, like, I think that Dan and his staff learned a lot last year about peaking at the right time and not, it's a very weird conversation to have because, Dan kind of gets trapped in coach speak a little bit with because they want to treat every game as the biggest game of the season. They want to be playing their best football and they only care about this game. But you also want to be peaking at the right time and playing your best football in November and playing which one is it? I don't know the answer. Like there is no right answer, but I'm curious as they get into this final stretch, as they start getting into late November in that playoff discussion, this is when you're quote-unquote supposed to be playing your best football and starting to peak. That's what we saw with Ohio State last year, despite that Michigan game, but then they started peaking after that. So I would not at all be surprised if they started playing really well and they started clicking, on offense going forward. I mean, the defense, I don't think either of us have any concerns at all. Like, they're playing great. They seem to, they're playing great against whoever they play. The offense is a different conversation, though, so if they start playing better, I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, we need to see it.
And I think it will be interesting Friday, depending on what the lineup looks like based upon these injuries. I mean, in my mind, offensively, you have kind of five guys. You got Bryant, you've got Stewart, you've got Moore, you've got Sadiq, you've got Harkey, where they're all, let's just say they're all questionable right now. So I think the game plan and how you approach the game looks a lot different depending on which of those bodies are in there. Let's operate in a world which none of the five play. I think that changes the approach to hey, we're building up to be full strength again against SC. We don't mind if we shorten this game a little bit. We don't mind if we just get out of here with a win. Let's take our dub. We've got an extra day against SC to get ready, and that's our takeoff point. Okay, I can see that happening. I can also see the different world where three of those five are back, and this is the week we need to start making a statement, shoot forward. So I think that depending on what the offense looks like, that could be determinative of what the approach looks like. Obviously, you're always going to try to win a game 45-0 if you can. But I think if we have four scholarship wide receivers, it may be a little tough to come out and air out the ball and put a bunch of points on the board. So I think that'll be interesting to track as the week goes.
If you had to guess how many of those five play?
Two.
I would say maybe one. I would not be surprised if none of them do. Just on the short week, I almost think that Evan Stewart is the most likely of that group because they may want to get him some live reps before USC if he's healthy. But I don't know on a short week. Like I think I'm least confident that Decorian will play. Sadiq seemed like he was semi-close. Harkey seemed like he was semi-close. Gary, we have not gotten any updates on. I'd be kind of shocked if he did. Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's I mean, the pregame indications about Harkey and Sadiq were somewhat optimistic last week, so you tend to think those two were close-ish to playing, but I don't know. I mean, any guy can suit up and look like they're almost going to play. I mean, there's some gamesmanship aspects of that too.
Well, and then I talked to Eric Skopel, who was there in Iowa for the game, and he's like, yeah, we were watching Harkey in warm-ups, and he was like in just like the running lines. He's like, he was 15 yards behind the rest of the guys because he literally couldn't run. And so the fact that they were saying he was like a game-time decision and almost played, I was like, I never believed that for a second. So, of course, in 5 days that can improve a lot if it's a rolled ankle, but I don't know. I would not. I'm just kind of preparing myself for the notion that all of those guys are out on Friday.
Yeah, the receiver one will be interesting to follow. I mean, that's one where you're definitely down some bodies, and those three. I mean, theoretically, if you had come out of the spring last year, your top three receivers, all in a questionable spot. So, like you said, I mean, you got an extra day coming out of this game. So I think it'll be very much one of those that's factored in terms of how much you're going to trust these guys. But boy, when it comes to a guy like Stewart, it would be nice to get him a few reps leading up to a game where theoretically then you could use him and weaponize him a little bit against SC.
You said it already. We've talked about this game a million times this year. Just maybe an opponent by a different name, but game flow. What are you kind of expecting this game? What are you hoping to see early on? What are you worried? What would worry you the most if you saw it first quarter on Friday?
If they're able to run the ball on us, I think. I mean, their running backs are good. They've had success doing that. I think their offensive line has played well in terms of, giving those guys successful opportunities. Like I said, that they're gonna run the play clock down. They're gonna shorten the game. They're gonna look for chances to just move the chains and keep the ball, limit our possessions. So, if it's a 0 possession, 1 possession, 2 possession early start of the game for us, then that's a situation where I think you'll know right off the bat, okay, like this is probably going to be a little bit of a grinder. We're just going to have to get through this. So, I don't know. The more I've kind of tracked the weather throughout the week, it doesn't look like it's going to be anything close to the rain we've seen the last couple times. So I don't think it should impact our offensive attack as much. If we can stop the run and make them beat us in the air, we've said it probably 7 out of 8 games so far this year. Yeah. I don't see many pathways for them to have success.
Yeah, I would be more concerned if I didn't just gain so much confidence in our own running game. Like, with so many injuries at the receiver position, it's like, man, if we can't throw the ball, we might be screwed in this game. But it's like, well, we just saw a game where we couldn't really throw the ball that well, and we rushed for 261 yards. Like, if this is another game where we have to run the ball 30, 40 times, like, I'm kind of okay with that. I would like to keep this clock moving and make this a 2.5-hour game and get out of there on a Friday night and get onto USC week. Like, that's totally fine with me. I don't care about the point spread. I don't care. I know we might need to care about, style points a little bit, but I personally don't care how good this team looks right now. In this instance, I want them to win, and I want them to move on.
I think what'll be the tough thing will be offensively for us is just like we need to get that passing game in a rhythm at some point. Yeah. And leading into SC, that game's obviously there. I know for a lot of players that game's going to be personal between SC and Washington. I don't think there's any coach out there in the world we trust more to like get his guys up and motivate guys 6 days later to win a game. Having said that, you are fighting against every bit of human nature in the body for a week like this. It's short. Players see the spread. Players try to stay off social media best they can sometimes during the season, but they're going to see the stuff. This is the type of game that's called a trap for a reason. It's because no matter what staff or anyone you have, you're still fighting against a bunch of 18 to 22-year-olds, being excited about the USC game way more than they're excited for this one. And that's just the nature of the situation a lot of times. So I don't know. I've seen a ton of stuff on Twitter already this week of just like 45-0, 52-0. I'm just like, I'm not going to be surprised if it's 21-7 in the third quarter, and we just need to be faced with the reality that could happen.
We also saw last year, I'm looking up right now, I mean, last year after the Ohio State game, we were saying the same thing about Purdue. And then, because then you had Illinois the week after, who was ranked 20th. They went to Purdue, won 35-0, came home, beat Illinois 38-9. So, yeah, I understand absolute trap game potential, but it doesn't worry me. Like, we've got enough proof in the pudding, enough sample size, however you want to say it, that Dan is going to have these guys ready. Yes, they're more injured now than they were after the Ohio State game last year. Yes, that could play a factor, but I don't think it'll be a big enough of one to ultimately sway the game or sway the outcome. What is your score prediction for this game?
31-10.
Okay. I realized I wrote that down in my notes and then did not actually enter the score, so let me go. I know I wrote it down somewhere. I have 31-7. So yeah, we're in alignment. I think that's
you're a slight cover. I'm a slight not cover, right? 23.5.
Yeah, barely slight cover, and then hit the under. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see
it's fine.
I don't see, unless we do some silly stuff, I don't think their opportunity to score much more than 10 will be there. If you look through their score charts from the year, if you look through what the good defenses they've faced and what they've done against them, unless we're giving them short fields, a couple of those broken coverages like you talked about, I think we're in a pretty good spot there to keep them, in the 7, probably max 13, 14 range. So once again, another one of those games, offense comes out, has success early, we're going to be in a good place.
Did this team just play? They just lost 41-3 to Iowa. So that's one thing I look at it as far as common opponents. Yeah, Nebraska.
And just for reference for fans and anyone else, that's the score a lot of people have referenced that I've seen and been like, whoa, Iowa scored 41 on them, we should score 58. Iowa had 250 yards of offense the whole game. It was special teams this, turnover that. So that's why I'm just trying to caution. Iowa did not score 41 on them. I think Iowa's offense scored 21, honestly, maybe even less. So it is not a Rutgers defense. If you're expecting us to just come out and do that, it is a far better defense. They have way better personnel in the front 7. So there's context that goes into some of these scores.
Yeah, I more wanted to highlight that for the 3 points than anything. If Iowa's defense, which is very good, can hold them to 3 points, I think Oregon's defense is as good, if not, I would say Oregon's defense is better than Iowa's. Maybe that's a hot take, maybe it's not. I think they can hold them down to 3, 7, 10 points. I think it's going to be that type of game.
Yep.
All right, let's talk some college football playoff. Again, these rankings come out in about 15 minutes now. I need to work when those come out, so we might need to hurry a little bit.
Is it 4? It's 4 today, not 5?
It's 4 p.m. tonight.
Oh, okay.
They change it. Next week is 5:30. I don't know why. This is stupid. I
can't wait to listen to Greg McElroy and Joey and Booger again. Gosh, we got to get out of here.
I'm not sure that Oregon is going to move much. They maybe go up a spot after the top 20 win, but if the AP poll, which is, such a valuable thing, is any indication, they're going to move down after winning a ranked game on the road. I know you've got some thoughts on this, so I'm honestly just gonna clear out. What are you thinking about this? Where do you think they'll be? Where do you want them to be at this point?
So they'll definitely move up to 8 because BYU will drop out. So I think 8's probably the minimum. I think the schools you need to watch closely are us in relation to Ole Miss, Georgia, Texas Tech. Those are kind of the 3 that I have my eye on moving forward. Texas Tech's schedule is really light until whoever they meet in the Big 12 title game. Ole Miss's schedule is really light too. So the hard thing when you get kind of game out scenarios is 5 or 6 is the spot you really want to be if you're an Oregon fan. The reason I say that is the 11 and 12 seeds are going to be a clear drop off from 8, 9. And then who you're facing after that, to me, is far more advantageous than who you're facing as 7, 8, 9. So what I'm watching really, really closely is, the reason I mentioned style points earlier, unless Ole Miss loses to Florida or Mississippi State, they're going to be 11-1. When the rankings came out originally, I think they were 6, we were 9. Now I expect them to be 6, 7 range, and us to be 8. I think there's a world in which we can jump them, given what they have and what we have. Their schedule is light. Their 2 best wins are at Oklahoma, which could very well be an 8-4 team at the end of the year. Honestly, maybe even worse, and LSU. So I just think it's important at some point that we start to look really good, because I think it's going to matter. There's a huge difference between being 8 and being 7. 8, you're looking at probably you're hosting still. You're probably hosting Notre Dame, and then you're going to play Ohio State again.
Yeah. That
No
doesn't
thanks.
sound fun. It just doesn't sound fun.
Just not what I need to spend my New Year's doing. So if you can at least get up to 7, you're in a situation where you're looking at a 10 seed right now. A lot of projections have maybe a 2-loss SEC, but more likely like a Utah type team, which is winnable and doable. I'll take it in a second. The problem with 7 is, once again, you're then playing a 2 seed, probably the SEC champ in SEC country in New Orleans. Once again, not the most advantageous matchup there. So the reason I've continued to highlight all year, like, give me the 6, is because if you can get to the 6, you get that 11 seed, which is probably going to be the ACC champ. And then you're facing...
And also, just like, who knows who the ACC champ is going to be right now? I don't know if there's ever been a more wide-open conference. It could be Georgia Tech. It could be... I mean, I don't think Miami can really get there anymore. Duke.
Could be 8-4
Pittsburgh,
Duke.
Louisville. Like, it
Yeah.
could be anyone right now. So, yeah, get that 6 seed.
It makes a huge difference. It really does. Mm-hmm. And it makes a huge difference in the second round, because the way things are shaking right now, the Big Ten champ is looking like it's going to be the 1 seed overall. The SEC champ, therefore, would be the 2. They're going to not want rematches, but they're not going to disincentivize teams from playing in that game. So it's looking like, if you assume it's going to be Ohio State, Indiana, they're going to shake out as 1 and 3. SEC is going to shake out as probably 2 and 4, unless Texas Tech can sneak into that 4 spot, where the SEC loser might be 5, depending on who that is. So either way, if you can be 6, we both have a ton of respect for Kirk Cignetti. Mm-hmm. I still would rather play Indiana than the SEC champ or Ohio State. I think we're totally in that boat. And you factor it in, that's the one game where the team is not going to have a massive home field advantage. You'd be playing Indiana either in Dallas. There's a couple other possibilities for it. You're not like going into New Orleans and playing Texas A&M. So all that to say, getting to 6 is important. So I'm really tracking closely Ole Miss, Georgia, Texas Tech. We need those teams to either not look good and or lose. So we want Texas to beat Georgia this weekend. There's no doubt in that statement. We definitely want it. We want Georgia to drop behind. And then we just got to hope Ole Miss looks clunky, looks bad, or even flat out loses to Mississippi State or Florida, so we can jump them.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's, again, these rankings, we pay attention to them each week. They don't really tell us much each week, but there are a few teams, like you're saying, to pay attention to. Whether you ignore 23 of the 25 rankings, just pay attention to a few teams and just keep an eye on where they are.
And I think what we can watch just for tonight, and I know this will obviously come out after taping, was how they stacked Texas Tech versus Ole Miss. I think if they have Texas Tech jump Ole Miss, that tells me that maybe they don't love Ole Miss as much, or at least Ole Miss is fluid there. Mm-hmm. So like that to me would be a positive development if they're going to jump Tech, because Tech's going to jump them at some point anyways if they keep winning and win that title game. So that to me would be a good indicator of like, okay, we're a spot away now, and we've got 2 ranked or close to ranked games coming up. If we can look really good, like we're in business there.
All right. Anything else on that before we get into our final segment?
Nope. I think that's good.
All right. Let's talk championship draft. Much like the Heisman draft, we want a fun way to talk about championship contenders. Granted, we probably should have done this earlier in the season. I think it would have been a more insightful exercise. I think we definitely do this early on next season. I think it'd be a fun thing to track throughout the year. But c'est la vie, we can do it now, and it still has a lot of, I think, merit. Basically, we are going to go back and forth and draft 5 teams each. I don't think I actually told you that. 5 teams each. I don't know if I told you any of this. So you may be learning this as listeners.
I'm here.
We're going to go back and forth, 5 teams each, and see who we think can make the playoff and win the championship. Much like the Heisman draft, we will each get a point at the end of the year if your team makes the playoff, 2 points if they make it to the quarterfinals, 3 for the semifinals, so on and so forth. I think, 5 points for the champion or maybe a little bonus, but if you probably got there, you're probably already winning. I may or may not have put a little bit more effort into this since you were kind of kicking my ass in the Heisman draft, so I'll just say that much.
All right.
Let's do snake draft. That good? So 1, 2,
Yep.
3, 4, like back. Do you want... I've got a coin I can flip so we can decide. If you win, you can decide which pick you get.
Yep. Tails.
You trust tails?
Tails.
I dropped it. Got another one. Good podcasting. It is tails. I don't know if you need to see that, but...
I will take...
Tough decision.
2 and 3.
Okay. I thought you might do that. I'm honestly happy because I did want the number 1 pick because I think there is a clear favorite, and I'm going to take them. I'm going to take Ohio State.
Yeah, I don't... It's like your Carson Beck pick. You can have the players and teams that I don't like on my team.
All right. God, that Carson Beck pick is so disgusting.
All right. So I'll go... Indiana A&M.
Okay. Indiana A&M. All right, all chalk so far. It's gonna stay chalk. Oh, I actually get 2 picks. Yeah, I do. So they're both gonna make it. We don't have to worry about at some point you value who can win the championship versus who can actually just make the playoff, But I don't think we're there yet, so I'm going to stay chalk and take Bama and Georgia.
Wow, big SEC guy over here. Ooh, wow, that really did. There really is a clear top 5. I definitely should have gone first.
Because I think any of those 5 teams we picked can win the championship.
You really did prepare better than me, man. That was really.
I broke this. You should see my sheet. I've got different conferences. I've got the tiers in the conference that I want. Yeah, I'm winning this one.
That was beyond dumb to go first or to go second and third.
You've embarrassed me in the Heisman draft.
It's all right. We good. I'm gonna go with Texas Tech.
Good call.
And Oregon.
Okay. Oregon comes off the list.
Well, you were going to take them if I didn't, so.
Maybe. Probably.
It's all right. You can take USC now.
No, God. No. I'm not doing that. I'm going to take Ole Miss. And then I'm going to take... Oh, that's so tough. Who's not? All right, so they're off.
SC, perfect. 2 losses.
Notre Dame.
Damn it.
Yeah. And that's my 5.
I will go Utah.
Okay. Is that your last one? No, you've got one more.
No, I have one more. Here's what I'm thinking. It's a question of if you're just trying to get the value of getting in. So in that world, I would go Georgia Tech. Or...
Do you want to expand to 10? I feel like there's more picks on the board. We can expand if you want to.
Sure, why not?
Okay.
Sure. Well, I'm not going to say now what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's fine.
Utah and... I feel like I still have to. Georgia Tech.
That's the right call. Okay, who? Now this opens up a bit. Okay. I'm going to take BYU. And I'm going to take Texas.
That was my other one. I was thinking because
if they win this week, like they
still have to beat A&M. That's
true,
the only problem.
Yeah, if they would lose 3, that's true. I forgot they're already.
I mean, they could get in as a 3-loss though, because here's the problem. Like that's why I would worry if Oregon was 10-2 against 9-3 Texas. I would legitimately worry they would take Texas because they're gonna say, well, Texas went out and scheduled Ohio State. We want to incentivize that. Good job by them. Oregon just stayed home and played a patsy. So basically, if Oregon had played Texas' schedule, they'd be 9-3 anyways, and therefore we're going to take Texas.
Yeah.
It's BS,
but I definitely can see that.
Oh, I'm just looking at the options here. Boy, there are a lot of teams I hate on here.
I know, right?
Oh, my God. I don't even know what to do. This is tough. This is really tough.
So you got to think, like, let's just think out loud. So far we've got how many Big Ten teams in? Only 2, 3 Big Ten teams in.
The only other Big Ten team that
4, 5 SEC teams. So maybe you get you got to think about how many bids. I know we're picking 20 teams, but
yeah. So okay, I mean, I'll have fun with it, I guess, because it'd be the funniest outcome of the whole season. I'll have Michigan.
That was gonna be my next pick.
Because if they beat Ohio State, that's going to be really, really funny. And they're in if they beat Ohio State because their schedule before then isn't great. And that's what would put Oregon in the Big Ten title game, by the way.
That's on my to-do list this week to do that research and the tiebreaker research. So if Ohio State loses to Michigan and them and Oregon both have 11-1 and 1-loss records in the Big Ten.
If Michigan, and Ohio State all have 3, apparently it's us because our in-conference strength of schedule is the hardest.
Interesting. Okay.
Like as of now, like there could be some other, but like apparently we'd have the best chance.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Good to know.
Yeah.
I don't know that I want to get back into that Big Ten title game. That's a conversation for a different day, though.
Well, yeah, I'm with you, but once again, if you're telling me that guarantees we're a top seed. If that guarantees me you're a top 4 and even a top 6, that's worth it to me as opposed to being worrying about being a 7 or an 8.
True.
True. Okay, so I've got Michigan, and then I'm gonna take. This is hilarious, but I actually am gonna take Duke.
Duke, wow. Okay.
They have like the second best odds to make that title game.
Yeah, I was gonna.
And they'd be automatically in.
God damn it! I just I know the pick that I should make. I don't want to make it because it is the Carson Beck of this draft again.
Do it.
But
take Mario and USC. Come on, what could be better?
I'm not taking Miami. Miami has no chance unless they win the ACC, and I don't think that's happening. How many losses does USC have right now? Do they have 1 or 2?
2.
Okay.
But you're picking them to beat the Ducks if you take them.
I know, I would be. And to beat... They still have to beat... No, they already played Notre Dame.
They have to beat Iowa, Oregon, UCLA.
That's not happening.
And they're in for sure.
They're not... That's not happening.
Okay.
Give me Oklahoma.
It's a good pick.
Which I also... Nah. And then give me Pitt.
Also a good pick.
Okay. I've got 1 more. You've got, what? 3 more? No, 2 more.
Are there even other I mean...
Yeah. I know.
Oh, Vandy.
That's a good one. Damn it.
Yep.
I forgot they were there.
Yep. I've got Vandy and... Are there any other ACC teams that have 1 loss?
I know. I was just thinking. I was like, just load up on the ACC because that's the most likely.
Bad podcasting here.
That's fine.
ACC standings. Football. Too. Oh, right. See, it's this Virginia. Oh, I'm taking SMU.
Okay.
How hilarious is it that Virginia has one loss even though they've lost to 2 ACC teams because one of them technically was non-conference.
It just didn't count. It's crazy. Has no one... All right, you're taking SMU.
Yeah.
All right, I'm taking Virginia.
There you go.
All right, you have one more pick.
Maybe
we shouldn't have gone to 10.
Well, I mean, normal people would choose either USC or Miami, but I refuse.
I know.
I refuse to have either on my team.
Can't do that.
USF.
Wow, what a mistake by us to not pick any group of 5 teams.
Well, mistake by you, because I just did.
Yeah, you got that one in at the buzzer. How didn't it... I thought I did
big research guy, yeah.
I know, seriously, what an idiot. Memphis was right there on the board.
Hey, we're only 2 minutes late to watching Joey Galloway, so we're all good.
Can't wait. All right, yeah, so my team, we'll just wrap it up with that. I've got Ohio State, Bama, Georgia, Ole Miss, Notre Dame, top 5, looking really good. BYU, Texas, Oklahoma, Pitt, Virginia. You've got Indiana, A&M, Georgia Tech, Utah. No, Texas Tech, Utah, Georgia Tech, Michigan, Duke, Vandy, SMU, and USF.
Did you put Oregon on there?
No, so you have one extra team. I forgot to write down Oregon. So who do you want to get rid of, SMU or USF?
SMU.
Yeah, that's probably a good call. You've got wow. So there's a chance that neither of us get our group of 5 team in just because I simply don't have one.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's fine. All right, let's wrap it up there. Just another reminder, if you're listening to this, go check out Jeff Schwartz' Ducks Rising Film Room, which dropped earlier this week. Also check out the Ducks Rising Alumni Corner when it comes out later this week. Travis, you got anything to add before we get out of here? Maybe we podcast on Saturday or something since it's a Friday game.
Yeah, I think it sounds like people love the instant reaction, so maybe we'll hop on, talk a little Ducks and what else we see during the day.
Sounds good. That will be a plan. Look out for us then. Check us out on YouTube. Find the Ducks Rising podcast on Apple or Spotify. If you'd be so kind, give us a rating and review. You can follow me on social media, Zachary C. Neel, and follow Travis at Travis Rooke-Ley, but most importantly, go over to Lockerverse and check out Ducks Rising. Subscribe now and support the program. Let's rise together. We'll see you guys this weekend.